WVEC-TV, PAN.
And here we go.
This is Jeff McKay, ABC News.
Hello, my name is Chris Collette, and I'm the Digital Special Projects Producer here at 13 News Now. I grew up watching Channel 13, and it's been a real treat going into the 13 News Now vault to find old special reports and documentaries from across the station's long history and to revisit them with fresh, modern eyes. Today, I'm presenting a selection of news stories from the 1980s and early 90s that are documenting the early days of home computers and video games. I think it's a fascinating look back at the dawn of the digital age and seeing just what we thought of that then brand new technology and its limitless potential. Keep an ear out for early references to things like electronic mail and even a mention of artificial intelligence from 1982. Now, lastly, I want to take a quick moment to highlight one of our old reporters who filed many of the stories you're about to watch. Kellyn Beeck was the lifestyle and features reporter at 13 News for many years. Kellyn had a special knack for telling fun, sometimes downright silly stories that are just as entertaining today as they were when they aired over 40 years ago. And as you're about to see, Kellyn really loved playing video games. So much so that when he left Channel 13 in 1984, he moved out to California to become a video game developer. A few years later, he helped create the revolutionary strategy game Defender of the Crown for home computers and went on to have a very successful career in video games and beyond. It's quite the journey, and I hope you enjoy seeing its humble beginnings that started right here at 13 News Now.
These kids are not in summer school, they're at day camp at Norfolk Academy. This is period 4 of their 5-period day, a day filled with photography, drawing, painting, theater, music, dance, and computers. Yes, computer science is part of this day camp's artistic program. Educators here feel computer programming can be a creative and imaginative experience. And as you can see, these 2nd to 6th graders don't seem to mind learning while they're having fun.
Yeah, all right.
In fact, 7-year-old Drew LeBan thinks the computers are the best part of camp.
Well, they're fun to play games on, and what I like about it is to learn to program games and to program them.
As it turns out, Drew is a real whiz at this computer stuff. So much so, he now helps teach.
You get to know more about computers, the way you teach it.
And Drew claims if his family had a computer, he'd never be bored.
I could spend all my life at a computer if I really wanted to.
Think you'd like to do that?
Yeah! I'd love to do that.
Tom Friedman, 13 News, Norfolk.
Starting back in 1871, the game of pinball took small-time gambling in France by storm. Later, the game gained respectability, and about 10 years ago, started to gain popularity as well. Now it seems pinball is here to stay, and according to any teenager, it's part of our American culture. Pinball machines have popped up in 5 and dime and convenience stores. Pinball palaces are springing up in every major mall. Some, like the one we're at today, combine a luncheonette with the ringing machines. One thing's for sure, pinball is big business.
How are you finding the pinball business nowadays?
Not too bad. As you can see, it's pretty well loaded.
About how many kids do you get in here, say on a busy Saturday?
Oh, approximately maybe 250, somewhere like that.
You're talking about hundreds now.
Yes.
Do you find that the kids are fairly well behaved?
I think so. I think they're real well-behaved children. On the whole, we have very little trouble with the children.
What would you say to parents who are a little bit concerned when their kids say, "Hey, Mom, I'm going out to play pinball"?
No, the parents come up here, too. And one fella came in, he says, this has got to be a good place because my mom likes it, too.
Themes of the machines vary, but pinball devotees have their favorites. Be it Star Wars, Captain Fantastic, or a myriad of other titles, the kids play with intensity and often with a great deal of skill.
We saw you play just a little while ago. Why do you like pinball so much?
I don't know, I guess it's just where you can get into it and it's a lot of fun.
Do you have any favorite machines?
This one right here.
What machine is that?
Space mission.
How come you like that best?
I don't know. It's just some of the other ones, they got a little bit different quality. They always go down the side or in the middle, something like that. But this one I like best.
Do you like the digital machines best, or do you like the old-fashioned kind?
The digital ones.
Why do you like the digital ones?
Well, they're more of a challenge.
Why is that?
Because they're harder to play.
Do you have a favorite machine? You look like you would.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Evel Knievel.
Evel Knievel. Any particular reason why that's the machine for you?
Because it's a little bit easy and a little hard. Gives you competition.
It takes dexterity and timing to master the flippers, to score the most points, to ultimately beat the machine. The old machines loudly chime, click, and ring. The new machines look computerized, boasting tasteful dinging and often digital songs. Speaking of songs, pinball fans have a favorite. Much like the character in the rock opera Tommy, the die-hard players long to be known as the Pinball Wizard.
Tidewater is reeling from an alien invasion. It began quietly with Space Invaders 2 years ago. Suddenly, the invaders were everywhere, lurking in the shadows. Their plan was to drain the world of quarters. Global conquest through control of the money supply. Now other aliens are joining the invasion, and new bases have been spotted throughout Tidewater. The entire population below the age of 30 may be under their control.
The more you play it, the more you want to play them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's a guy last week who played on this machine 6.5 hours straight. He was good.
Can these alien machines really take over? Or do we have a chance to stop them? It may be possible, but only by spreading the word about this terrible threat before it's too late.
They got you now.
So have you ever wandered past one of these machines in a shopping center and wondered what it was that fascinated people so much? We now present for your enjoyment the official Kellyn Beeck guide to flashing, beeping, button-pushing space video arcade games. An alien called PAC-MAN recently took over from Space Invaders as the leader of the enemy forces. At Old Dominion University, the line to play this game begins forming early every morning. Phoenix is another invader you must learn to recognize. You can remember this game by the winged monsters known for their effectiveness in controlling the players' minds. One of the newest invaders is Centipede. This enemy machine is also known for its uncanny ability to drain quarters from innocent passers-by. We've collected a great deal of evidence on the invasion by studying the victims, who seem to be fully aware of what's happening.
You kind of go out into a world of your own when you're playing, and you take the game seriously, and it becomes more than a game after a while.
How do you get good at one of these? What does it take?
A lot of money.
Fortunately, there is an underground defense system being organized to combat the invasion. If you have any information about the latest enemy movements, call the number at the bottom of your screen. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News, Norfolk. How effective would American soldiers be in a battle against Russian tanks? It's a serious concern in the Army because anti-tank weapons have become so expensive that soldiers rarely get any target practice. The TOW missile launcher, a standard infantry anti-tank weapon, costs $3,000 every time it's fired. On the other hand, these soldiers are getting hours of practice with the TOW missile, and the cost is next to nothing. The Army Training and Support Center at Fort Eustis is studying the idea of training soldiers with video games, the same machines that control America's supply of quarters. They're using a modified Atari video game called Battlezone.
In the future, the Army's going to find more and more costly ammunition, and we hoped to save ammunition costs using this device.
The game has been modified to match the weaponry of an M2 infantry fighting vehicle, and the targets are programmed to match the shape and movements of Russian tanks. In the past, the Army has spent $1 million or more for one simulator. This video game costs about $2,500. If the simulation is realistic enough, the soldiers can use this for inexpensive target practice all day long.
Comparing the game to real life, I think it's similar to real life, but not exactly.
Only one of the video game simulators has been produced, but if it can turn these soldiers into marksmen, games that aren't so different from the ones you hook up to your TV set at home may be used to train the soldiers of the future. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News, Fort Eustis.
Video games. An international explosion in this industry, along with the old standard pinball, is being felt right here in Tidewater. Here at Flipper McCoy's near Military Circle in Norfolk, these machines are busy 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. The stream of quarters seems endless. Under new zoning proposals, the city would limit future large game rooms like this. If they want to operate in Norfolk, they'd have to be as classy as this one, with attendants present, proper lighting, restrooms, and off-street parking. Much of the industry thinks present regulations are satisfactory. Felix Cassidy manages the Flipper McCoy chain.
I don't want to tell the city what to do. It's up to them. They make their laws, and they should stay with their laws. Whatever, if they have a zoning and it's not zoned for amusement center, they shouldn't allow it in there. And if that's the way it's zoned that way.
Is there enough control right now?
Yes, sir. I think there is enough control.
Philip Steadfast is director of Norfolk City Planning.
This is not a punitive step. Nobody is saying the industry's been bad or done bad things. What we're simply doing is trying to catch the zoning ordinance up to what's happening around us.
What's happening is that amusement games are popping up all over, restaurants, grocery stores, 7-Elevens, and the question is how many are too many at these places? And if they're going to proliferate, how does the city ensure that they're controlled? Neither city officials nor industry people want anyone to hark back to the days when pinball parlors, as they used to be called, were associated with fights and drugs and crime. A new compromise proposal comes up next month with city officials and industry representatives working to ensure a mutually beneficial future. Garrett Glazer, 13 News in Norfolk.
We submit for your approval one Kellyn Beeck. He is on assignment to investigate the latest trend in video games. He believes he is about to enter an ordinary video arcade. But in truth, he has just entered the Pac-Man zone. To the casual passerby, the Pac-Man zone appears to be harmless. Here, people trade their hard-earned quarters for a few minutes of frenzied recreation. Most of the games take only your money, but there is one game here that will take your mind. This innocent reporter is about to become lost in the Pac-Man zone. Now there is no turning back. Once you have played this machine, your mind is no longer your own. Nothing exists but the Pac-Man himself, as he gobbles his way through the maze only to face capture and annihilation by pink monsters. Lost forever in a world of beeping machines, your countenance begins to change. Soon, everything around you takes on the appearance of the images on the screen. And you learn, too late, that there is no escape from the Pac-Man zone. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News, Norfolk. If you've ever used a computer, chances are your first experience came on a video game. These machines have introduced millions of people to computers, and the leading ambassador of all is Pac-Man. Over 200,000 Pac-Man machines were in use in the United States at last count. It's estimated that the ubiquitous yellow Pac-Man brings in a total of $25 million a week, all in quarters. Pac-Man is indeed making a rich man out of somebody. But video games are only a small part of the colossal computer industry. a $100 billion industry completely dependent on this, the computer chip, a tiny flake of silicon imprinted with up to 1 million electronic parts. The awesome power of the tiny flake lets scientists create three-dimensional pictures of spaceships and test them inside the computer. It enables these robots at the Ford truck plant in Norfolk to perform spot welds with greater precision than any human. But the real miracle of the chip is that scientists keep finding new ways to cram even more electronics onto its tiny surface every year.
This is a small microcomputer. In 10 years, the same size will be able to do the job that a large computer can do today.
Computer scientists like Dr. Christian Wild have watched computers shrink inexorably from the size of rooms to the size of apples, and they're always ready with adjectives to describe the future.
Smaller and smaller and smaller.
Bigger and faster and better.
Smaller does mean bigger for Mo Morin, head of the computer division at NASA's Langley Research Center, where one of the world's largest and most powerful computers supports critical research for America's space program. The Cyber 203 is a supercomputer, a term reserved for a special class of computers capable of incredible processing power.
If you had all the telephone books for every city and every small town in the country, and you took all those telephone numbers and put them inside the computer and asked it to add them all up, it would take something less than a second to do it.
But even the power of NASA's supercomputer may be rendered a toy by the end of the century, when scientists hope to develop the first biological computer, a computer with parts the size of molecules, made from inorganic chemicals in a test tube.
If we can get the computing elements down to the size of molecules, a couple of atoms put together, it's just astounding what we could do. It's been projected that I could take all the information in all the world's libraries and put them on a biochip which would be no wider than 2 strands of your hair.
By that time, the 5th generation of computers may be ready, thinking computers, programmed to simulate human thought. Scientists call it artificial intelligence because thinking computers will only be following steps mapped out by their programmers.
It's taking a knowledge base and taking some information in and trying to say, gee, based on this and what I know, what rule do I have? Where do I go next?
Thinking computers. One of the reasons people are coming down with computer fear. Tomorrow we'll tell you why you shouldn't let these dumb machines get your goat. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News. Computers have an astonishing effect on people, an effect that's coming to be known as computer fear. Psychologists are even studying it.
There's no reason to be afraid of computers because, number one, there's nothing any more stupid than a computer. It only knows what it's been programmed to know.
Dr. Linda Petty of Hampton Institute is conducting a study in a new field of psychology.
What we would like to do is develop a scale of computer fear so that we could give this scale to folks, determine what level of computer fear they have and how to best attack that computer fear.
Dr. Petty says everyone has a little computer fear, but if you really want to experience out-and-out, full-scale, sweaty-palmed computer terror, try learning to program. Ann Zingraf taught herself, and now teaches programming to others at a Virginia Beach computer store.
When I first sat in front of one, my hands would start to sweat. It was scary. You just knew that the first button you pushed was going to do something terrible, and you were never going to be able to get control of it again.
If that line wasn't there, the program would start, and line 10 would say, print this program, da-da-da-da-da. Where would it show up on the screen?
As a computer instructor, Ann has learned how to help people overcome their computer fear.
Usually I say something ridiculous and make them laugh at it. You know, like if it starts to smoke, just be sure and tell me, or don't worry, it doesn't bite.
With Ann Zingraf's help, these adults are learning to program home computers. And in the process, they discover that computers are not only useful tools, but they can also be fun. Here's another case of people conquering computer fear. Norfolk attorney Stuart Hayes wanted to use a microcomputer in his office to conquer legal paperwork. But the computer very nearly conquered him.
Well, I think it's a rather frightening, impersonal machine. You know, the first time I sat down, this machine was always right and I was always wrong, and I didn't like that.
Now the computer does the work of 2 people, writing letters, complaints, and keeping track of dozens of cases. Such examples lead computer scientists to believe that computer fear is on the wane.
I think in the next 10 years we're going to see people forgetting that there's a computer in their microwave oven, or forgetting there's a computer in their car or in their typewriter. And they're just going to accept that this is a very nice little versatile machine.
One generation already thinks of computers as nice little machines. Tomorrow we'll look at the computer generation. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News. What would it be like to grow up with a computer in your bedroom? To live your entire life with computers at home, at school, and then at work? That's what faces the next generation. Today's children growing up with computers. A computer generation. This is Mark Mendelssohn's bedroom. Mark is a sophomore at Norfolk's Maury High School, and he's had a computer at the foot of his bed since he turned 13.
It's kind of different. I mean, not every kid has a computer. Gives you something to do, to occupy your time, and, well, it teaches you.
Put the pronoun up here and put it and read the whole sentence.
In much the same way as television shaped the lives of the last generation of youngsters, the computer is bringing up this one. Today's children think of the computer as both teacher and friend. Computers turn their grammar lessons into games and take them to far-off galaxies to battle the enemies of the human race.
A child gets just awestruck with the whole thing, and their imagination runs wild, and they get very creative on it.
Experts are watching the computer generation and wondering how computers affect the way children think.
It changes their thought process to a certain degree because it's basically problem solving. So it teaches them to be very critical thinkers and very logical thinkers.
They play games on them. They see computers in cars and microwave ovens, and they see computers all around. They're not going to think of computers as being such a big deal like we think of them today.
Michael Capps thinks of the computer in his bedroom as nothing more than a tool. To him, it's as familiar as the spaceship models hanging from his ceiling. The members of the computer generation don't understand what all the fuss is about.
I think this generation that's growing up now will be much more relaxed with computers and will accept them well like a calculator almost.
I don't know if you can necessarily call it an advance. I mean, it's obviously a change. Whether or not it's an advance is debatable. But it's what's happening, and there really is nothing that we can do about it.
The computer generation. The only difference may be a new wrinkle in the way they think. On the other hand, they could surprise us all. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News.
Buy a pizza, play video games, win a computer. Except for the dent in their pocketbooks, it was a fairly painless fundraiser for the students of Newport News' Huntington Middle School. For most of the kids, it was more like fundraising, this national promotion for a video entertainment franchise. In fact, the promotion is so new, Huntington Middle School became the first organization in the country to win a computer, monitor, and money. Student Council Advisor Laura Fleming made the initial contact and thrilled that Huntington is the first computer winner.
We haven't really decided exactly what we're going to do with it because we're so excited about it. But we're going to use it in each and every way possible. Here at school, in the office, with students, just everything we can do with it.
The computer is expected to spend a lot of time in Huntington classrooms. Students and teachers learn.
It can be used in our reading program to reinforce vocabulary and to help the students with comprehension. And the neat thing about a computer is it does give them instant feedback. The student will know immediately whether he was correct or incorrect. In addition to us using it, we're kind of excited because we're going to have one of our teachers win a free course on how to program a computer. And that's in conjunction with our home reading program.
The staff here at Huntington Middle School has been told the new computer will arrive in 3 to 4 weeks. Ironically, that's just in time for Christmas. Kathy Barnstorff, 13 News, in front of Huntington Middle School in Newport News.
A lot of people are deciding that this Christmas is going to be a computer Christmas. Computer dealers are hard-pressed to say exactly why, but their stores are swamped with customers.
We're selling just about anything we can get in the store.
Jim Butts manages a computer store in Norfolk, and his half-dozen or so employees have faced 50 or 60 customers at a time this holiday season.
Yeah, it gets like a zoo. It's gets very crowded.
But I suppose you don't really mind that.
No, that I don't mind too much. We can handle that.
But why are so many people buying computers for Christmas? What's so lovable about a computer?
Because you can do so many things with it.
I think there's just one real reason: to play games.
Home budget management.
No, the reason is games.
Educational programs.
People really just want to play games.
Teach your kids reading and math.
All right, there are a lot of things you can do with a computer. And Jim Butts says manufacturers are making computers so easy to use that anyone can learn to program. To demonstrate his claim, he challenged a certain television reporter to write a program on one of the store's computers. The reporter hunched over the terminal and set to work on a program to fit the season. 30 minutes later, he sat up and announced that his program was ready to run. I call it the Jingle Bell Symphony. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News, with a sleighing song tonight. Why would you want to play Pac-Man for 8 hours?
The challenge of it. We all need a little bit of challenge in our lives.
Ken Anderson is a self-styled inventor, an inventor for the age of video games. Together with his wife Cindy, he has invented the means to conquer home Pac-Man.
We all want to win at something, and we provide people with an opportunity to win at Pac-Man.
The 33-year-old printer claims that with the system described in his book, Mastering Home Pac-Man, you literally can't lose. To prove it, he played one game for 8 hours, scoring 325,000 points by following a pattern of moves and using his secret invention. What does your secret invention do?
Basically, to put it in a nutshell, it allows you to play the game much more effortlessly, and you can use this invention not just with Pac-Man, but with any video system that is on the market.
Ken says a new sport will develop as people learn how to play Pac-Man indefinitely, the Pac-Man Marathon.
People are going to realize that this is another type of marathon that they can engage in and develop a certain dexterity and mental awareness and ability, and a feeling of self-satisfaction in being able to do it.
Ken Anderson is already the acknowledged world record holder for home Pac-Man, and his next challenge is to play one game for 24 hours. Kellyn Beeck, 13 News, Norfolk.
So this particular
Tom Hudgens is a computer matchmaker. About a year ago, Tom started what is becoming known as a Dial Your Match service on his home computer. There are dozens of them around the country now, and people with computers are using them to meet other people without ever leaving home.
Doctors and lawyers and musicians, just a lot of different people that are sending mail, and you can discuss all kinds of topics. And there's that secrecy of not really knowing who the person is until after you get to know them. If it looks like somebody that you want to exchange phone numbers or names with, then you can do it.
It's as easy as can be. You link your computer to Tom's over the telephone, answer a questionnaire, and you're immediately matched up with a list of men or women with similar interests. Start talking to them through Tom's computer. It's a shy person's paradise.
They would just be afraid just to come up and say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so." Whereas on the computer, you've matched up and you're writing to people. You're getting to know the person, how the person really is, rather than saying what they look like or can I approach them, that kind of thing.
Tom runs the service as a hobby, so he never collects a fee. More than 500 people are now in his system, and men outnumber women almost 4 to 1.
345 male heterosexuals versus 92 female.
Tom's computer gets 50 calls a day, most of them between 8 p.m. and 3 a.m., and he's often on hand to watch the proceedings.
What he's doing now is he's scanning the subject matter on the public board to see if there's anything that he wants to read. You tend to talk about things over a computer that, through electronic mail, that you wouldn't talk to someone face-to-face about. So there's a lot of topics that get covered, and just you know a lot more about the person when you finally do meet, if you do meet.
Inside Tom Hudgens' computer, people are meeting each other right now. Welcome to the Computer Singles Bar. No cover, no drinks, no faces. Computers make everything easier, don't they? Kellyn Beeck, 13 News, Newport News.
9-year-old Bobby Reed just may find one of these under the tree come Christmas Day. He'll be one of hundreds of children in Hampton Roads this year to receive a computer. In fact, retailers say they're some of the hottest items on the market this year.
Some of the hot sellers in the home front area has been the Apple IIc and the IBM PC Junior. Both systems have gone down in price below what the average median income family can afford. And this year I've seen an extreme amount of purchases in both of those systems.
Kelly says the average person is willing to spend about $1,300 on a home unit. And with the Apple and IBM in high demand, short supply is the bottom line as Christmas gets closer.
Then I can use that computer to help me with some of the stuff I'll have at my boys' club to do in computer class.
While computers are in short supply this year, it's almost an understatement to say that Cabbage Patch dolls and Transformers are in the same category. The parents are making substitutes.
Moms are resorting to Cabbage Patch look-alike dolls. Some of them are quite close in complexion and in price. Others are considerably cheaper and yet look almost like a Cabbage Patch Kid. Moms and dads are also resorting to the same tactic with the robot toys for Transformers.
Although finding two of the hottest items is still almost unheard of, frustration has not set in. In fact, only 2 weeks before Christmas, shoppers are already scrambling for last-minute bargains. Alvita Ewell, 13 News.
John Money and his best friend Chris love skateboarding, but when they're not out kicking up their heels and rolling up a ramp, you'll find them mesmerized by the Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers is the all-time best-selling video game on the market under the Nintendo label. And it must be pretty good for someone to want to spend all of one night and 5 days doing nothing but trying to rescue a princess from hundreds of bad guys. John says he scored 10 million doing just that. The game's counter only goes as far as 999,950. But John says his friend kept track of the score as he played over and over again, surprising even himself.
It just wasn't me. If it was me, I would have probably been in there watching TV. But I guess the game got control of me.
But what is it that fascinates kids so much about these games? What is it?
The adventures and all that. It's when they're bored, they have something to do instead of spending quarters.
A game counselor for Nintendo says a score of 10 million is not a record, but it is an accomplishment, something a lot of kids apparently try to reach. At Children's Palace in Hampton, the World of Nintendo section of the store is a big moneymaker.
There's some regular kids at the girls up the front desk. They realize who they are and they recognize them, and they call every week wanting to know what new selection we've got in.
And Nintendo addicts have plenty of gadgets to fill their video appetite, including cereal, clothes, and scores of other trinkets. It's a fad that at this point knows no limit. Velma Scaife, 13 News on the Peninsula.
The sights and sounds of video games goes on, and as I found out, so do the repairs.
About 1,800 gumdrops and coins down in there.
Training under Don Anderson, I was getting a real feel for the job and for the type of person it takes.
Well, they need to be special in the sense that they need to be people-oriented, because we'll have customers that have a problem and they want to be serviced right away and get their game fixed because they want to have fun.
Is that Street Fighter game working?
At this putt-putt near Military Circle, they have some of the most amazing new video games you'll find. From this $50,000 Suzuka 8-hour that allows 4 riders at a time to compete, watching the race on individual screens and one big master monitor, to a Super Street Fighter game that I had to open up and see why one of the buttons wasn't working. The newer the game, the tougher the repair.
From pinball games that just had basic mechanical items to these things that are sophisticated. So they've got computer boards, they've got CD players in them, got all kinds of equipment in them.
It's made it a little tougher because the problems become a lot more technical, and I don't have the education right now for that.
Now, the best part of this job has to be on Mondays. That's when Don gets to go around to every one of the 60 games in here, count the coins, count the tickets, and make sure they're all in good working order. And the best way to do that is to play them, like this Cyber Sled. How's yours working? Pretty good. Mine's fine. What a job.
I think they're a lot more upbeat than what you would think of a game room. It's not dirty and dark, and everything is nice and bright and clean.
Yes, a day on this job brought a smile to my face and a laugh to the face of my boss.
We could bring you right along, right up to speed. It wouldn't be a problem.
Joe Flanagan, 13 News.
I'm the guy that keeps them running.
On the job in Norfolk.